well, which is all great. So I've got a really good webinar today, and we're going to talk about creating a marketing plan and creating a marketing strategy. And I'm gonna, as always, give you step-by-step examples and advice that you can use starting today. And we're also going to talk about what is going on in the industry in general and how to get away from it. And I'll also gonna give you a few examples that worked really well for some of my clients in the previous few years around November and December. And what some of my clients were actually able to do is turn January and February into some of the best months in the year. And the solution to getting busy and making a lot of money is in planning. And so this is why I'm talking about this in October. Because if you take a look at what's going on with most taxi business owners, there's chaos, there's no structure, there's no plan. A lot of guys are busy one day and slow on the other. There are busy seasons, there are slow seasons, but it's being accepted as reality, and so there's no thought in putting it into how can we turn a slow season into a busy season, or how can we capitalize on a busy season, how can we make it even better, or how we make some stuff happen that will actually help us make money when it's not that busy. And again, I'm gonna give you some tips today about how to do all that with Halloween that's coming at the end of the month, and so on and so forth. And so if you look at what's usually happening, it's one of two things. It's either busy or not busy. And so when a taxi company is busy, then the taxi business owner is thinking, well, I gotta take care of the business that's going on now. So all that strategy, all that planning, all that marketing calendar, I do not have time for it. And honestly, why bother, because it's busy right now. And then busy stops and slow time comes, and they're thinking, well, what am I going, I cannot, okay, let me see, my screen is, okay. And so the slow time comes, and when the slow time comes, it's usually panic. It's, oh my God, what do I do? And there's no time for planning, there's no time for strategy, there's no time for doing any of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about today, because while it's slow, it's emergency, I gotta figure out how to make money today. And so basically, when you look at a typical taxi business owner, there's no good time to start planning, there's no good time to think about strategy. And what it all really means is that the time is now, and there will be never a good time. So you gotta figure out how to do it, and you gotta start doing it. And again, I'm gonna give you some tips later on about how to do it and how I run my business and what tools I use to do planning and how I have it all structured in the operational sense, meaning day-to-day work. And so when there's no plan, when there's no strategy, when there's no agenda, what happens? Some idiot shows up at a door and offers to create a website for you, or to do Facebook marketing, or to put some ad, and a taxi business owner places an ad. And when I say an idiot, they're kind of idiots in the sense that the ad that they're gonna do for you, or the website that they're gonna put up, is going to be total crap. But at the same time, they kind of did show up, and they kind of made some money doing crappy jobs. So are they idiots or not? That's a different question. And so what it usually leads to are some ridiculous costs. I have accepted a few new clients last month, and one of them is spending $30,000 a month in advertising on billboards and some newspapers. And so he's been doing it for 6 months, and so he has lost now about $200,000. And when we looked at his numbers, what has started happening after he started spending all that money is nothing. Nothing has changed. So he pretty much has been plateau since April of last year, and so whatever he has been doing has not been working, and so that money has pretty much been down the drain. It has completely been not measurable, and so what I'm asking people, when I'm asking people, why are you doing this, what's the point, they cannot really tell me anything. It's, I had to do something, so I've done that, and the problem with it is that it's not measurable at all. And so whenever you are doing something, you gotta ask yourself, well, how am I going to measure it? And if you have questions about how to do that, there's a video on my website, and I think now, even if you just go to Google and if you type, how can I make a phone in my taxi company ring, it's going to be the first video on Google results, because since I've put that video on YouTube, it has been viewed more than 5,000 times, and so it's really up there. And I think there will also be an article on the website with a link to that video later today or maybe tomorrow. So if you have questions, if you do not understand how to make something measurable, you gotta go and watch the video. But pretty much everything is simple. You gotta have an offer and you gotta have a deadline. And so whatever you do, whether it's print, whether it's online, whether it's some partnership stuff, there needs to be a deadline and there needs to be an offer. And so if an offer is, say, 5% off or $5 off, there needs to be a deadline, and there needs to be some kind of tracking thing how you can measure it. So if somebody requests a discount, they gotta tell you a password or something, and so then a dispatcher needs to put it down that there was a discount because of this, and then you gotta calculate how much money you gave in discounts, how much you've spent on advertising, how many new clients it brought you. So that's pretty much the logistics of it. There is some work, but all the work is pretty much simple, and it all can be done quite easily. All you need is pretty much a few college kids who will work for minimum wage. And another thing that I've been noticing recently is when I start talking about this stuff and when we actually start implementing it with my private clients, a lot of them start cringing and they say, oh my God, this is so much work. It seems like a complicated system. And so what I usually tell them, and what I'm going to tell you now, is that whenever you implement a complicated system, you really need to be happy. Because even if you look at my clients, even if you look at my inner circle members and those who visit my websites, even people who understand what needs to be done and how to do it are not doing it. And so the fact that you not only understand but do something, it puts you light years ahead of all your competition, who is not going to do crap, but then they will sit on their butt and complain about how not busy it is. And my answer to the question, how's business, is the question is really stupid, because in order to be making any conclusions about how business is, and that's probably one of the questions that you discuss at all the Chamber of Commerce meeting with other business owners and so on and so forth. They just love asking this question, so how's business? And I usually answer that, I can answer this question, but it will, whatever conclusions you may make out of this question are going to be wrong. Because in order to be making any conclusions from my answer, you first got to know what I'm doing to stimulate more business or to keep business at the level where it's now. Because it's one thing when I'm not doing anything, and it's a completely different thing when I'm doing something. So, oh, business great, okay. But what is being done? Nobody talks about it. And that is actually a way for you to get into coaching and consulting and pretty much do what I'm doing with you at a local level for other business owners, because I've had quite a few people in my experience, when I told them that, they were calling back in a few days and telling me that they wanted to talk to me about their business. And all I said was that, you know what, I can answer this question, how my business is doing, but you cannot be making any conclusions of it, because you gotta know what I'm doing to stimulate business. But let's go back to the slides. And so a lot of guys, without planning, without strategies, spend ridiculous amounts of money on stuff that's not measurable. And so what you want to ask yourself, is it measurable, and why am I doing this? And so when I ask a client like this, why are you doing this, they cannot really tell me anything. And so it's a good idea to have reasons in business for doing stuff. And obviously you are in business to make money, to make profit. And so ultimately it should all be leading to profit, to making money. And so then some of those people who spend 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a month on advertising that doesn't work come to my website, and some of them even start complaining about my prices. And when somebody tells me that my prices are too steep, and some of you who went through my transformation program and raised your prices most likely have to deal with it. And if you haven't raised your prices yet, you should be raising your prices. You want it to be the highest priced. And so when you are the highest price, here's how it happens. Some people come to you and they start complaining about pricing. And you may think that complaining about pricing is bad. Actually, complaining about pricing is good. And if you do not get any complaints about pricing, about how high your taxi service is priced, it means that you are priced too low. Because you want to have probably about 5 to 10% of customers bitching about your pricing. Because when you have people bitching about your pricing, then you know that you are doing it just right. Because if nobody's complaining, it means that there are some people that would have paid more. And you want some of those people to start complaining and still be using your taxi service instead of all the competition. So if you've got no complaints and you think it's good, I'm here to disappoint you. It's actually bad, unless you did a lot of brainwashing and you did a lot of work to convince people that they should be paying your high prices. And so when somebody is telling me that you are very expensive, one of the questions that I ask is, well, what are you comparing my prices to? Because I want to know if it's a burger at McDonald's, if you went shopping to a 99-cent store yesterday, or what are you comparing my prices to? And so that's one of the ways for you to go to, and then if they compare you to some other taxi service, you can tell them how you're different. And another way when somebody tells you is that you're expensive, what you do is, yes, we are expensive, we're not the cheapest, and here are reasons why we are expensive. And so when you are expensive, what you want to do is you want to stick with being expensive. Because what a lot of you do is you try to back away from it. And so here I'm going to give you an example. I have a client right now, and he's been approached by a huge supermarket chain. I think they have about 60 stores in his town. And they wanted my client to send them a proposal. And I always advocate against any proposals, because you do not want to be sending any proposals. Because what happens when somebody collects proposals is then they choose on the criteria that you're not aware of, which is most likely price. And so what I instructed this client of mine to do is call them up and ask them how they are choosing a taxi service, what they're choosing a taxi service based on. And so obviously what they told him was, well, one of the most significant reasons is price. And so what I instructed this client of mine to do is tell them right away, which he did. So imagine the scenario, because this is really good. So a big store chain calls him to send them a proposal. He asks them, well, what do you make your decision based on? They tell him, well, it's price. So he tells them, you know what, I can guarantee you right now that we are far from the cheapest. We are probably one of the most expensive taxi services in the company. So guys, if you're making your decision based on price, there's no reason for us to talk about anything, because we do offer a guarantee. We train our drivers. We just bought brand new cars, and we focus on providing quality service, not on price. So the fact that you guys are looking for the cheapest service means we're not a match. Now think what happens after that. So that supermarket chain gets all kinds of proposals from all kinds of idiots. Yet my guy was the only guy who basically told them to go and screw themselves. And obviously, they are looking at all those proposals that they're now getting from all those other guys as some inferior thing, and they are thinking about my client. And so they're calling my client and they're saying, well, can you still send us a proposal? And so I told him to insist, I'm not going to send you a proposal. I'm not going to send you any price list because we're not the cheapest. If you want, we can get together and we can talk. And so then they got together and then they talked. And so obviously it turns out that those guys can pay because the largest supermarket chain in the town has money. And the only reason they have been cheap before is pretty much the only reason some of the potential prospects you're dealing with are cheap. They have no clue how to choose between taxi services. And so when they have no clue how to choose, they start choosing based on price. But one of the things you can do and you should be doing is tell them right away that we do not compete based on price. So if you want us to send you a price list, I'm not going to do that. Now I can send you a fact list about our taxi service with 10 things that nobody else is doing. But I'm not sending you a price list right away. We can discuss prices based on the volume, based on demand, based on what time of the day you need the rides, what is going on in your taxi company. And so right now at this point, that supermarket chain is talking to my guy and they want him to organize everything. And he will not be able to serve 50 supermarkets at this point. But they do want to deal with him, because everybody else to them looks like an average idiot that everybody is used to dealing in the taxi industry. And my guy I refuse to talk about price before we talk about what you guys want and what your needs are. He immediately stood out, and that's a great blueprint for all of you to do. And the solution here, really, what happened here is very simple. You gotta have balls. That what it really boils down to in negotiations and in business. Have balls, do the thing that you believe is right, and then just stand up for it. Do not back down. Do not start negotiating. No, this is how we do things, and if you do not like it, then you can go. And once you tell no to a few people, magic things will start happening. All those people that have been trying to bully you into being the cheapest guy will do business on your terms, and it will be just great. So just follow this. And back to prices in the taxi business, one of my favorite stories that I tell a lot, some of you may have heard it, back from about probably 10 plus years ago of my taxi driver days on Long Island. I had a pickup once at a really, really, really affluent neighborhood, and it was in Old Brookville. And the thing about Old Brookville is I think the lowest priced home there is like $2 million. So that's Old Brookville. And so it's a really expensive mansion. There are a few Lexuses in front of the mansion. A guy jumps into my taxi. A guy is wearing a really nice suit. He has a suitcase. He's going to an airport. So obviously a successful business guy going to a business meeting somewhere in a different town. And so as I'm driving him to the airport, he's asking me, so how much is a ride back? And so the way he asked it, as he did as if price mattered to him. And again, the only reason he asked was because that was the only thing he knew. The only thing he knew how to compare taxi companies was based on price. And what I did, because that taxi company didn't really have any unique selling proposition, it did not have anything that was making it stand out. Well, what was making it stand out in that particular case with that particular guy was me being his driver. And so what I asked him was, well, sir, let me ask you this. Is when choosing a taxi company, is that taxi company being the cheapest the most expensive criterion to you? And so the guy started thinking about it. Then he left and he told me, you know what? If being the cheapest it was the most important thing, I'd ask my wife to choose it. And so after that, we basically had a laugh. We chatted for a little, and he asked me to pick him on the way back. He did ask what the price would be, but it was the last question he asked. So that is another perfect question that you want to ask people, and this works really great if you see that somebody has money. Is being the cheapest number one criteria for you? Because people are not used to thinking that way. They're used to thinking that all the taxis are crap. And basically, when it comes to Uber, Lyft, and all those other guys, they are going in the same direction. There will be some more articles on the website this week, and there will be an article that's now my all-time favorite. And my all-time favorite article is Lyft drivers having some fire ceremony and burning Lyft mustaches, because in the last 6 months, I think, Lyft cut their prices 3 times. So that's another side note on the whole issue of pricing. But let's get back to our today's subject, and let's talk about what we want when it comes to our business, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to strategy, when it comes to advertising and planning. And so what we want is pretty much the opposite of everything I was talking about. And the opposite is you asking yourself questions. What do I want and what do I need to get there? And that is really important. How many hours do you want to work a week? How much money do you want to be making? That's where it all starts. And only after that you can start making any intelligent decisions about your business, about your company, about how to run it, about where it's going. And one of the problems that a lot of guys have is that they are absolutely clueless about what they're doing and where they're going. They're just so stuck in that rut race with managing drivers and dispatchers and putting off fires and dealing with all the idiots and working 70, 80 hours a week that they have no time to stop and think, which is a really bad idea. I recently talked to a new prospective client, and the question that he asked me was, well, how can you help me? And I asked him in return, what do you need help with? And he immediately got stumbled. Well, I'm not sure. And so what I did is I sent him a questionnaire, and I told him, well, take a look at the questionnaire, fill it out, send it back to us, then we'll take a look and we'll suggest next steps for you. And obviously after that, most of prospective clients just disappear because they're too busy to make a step out of that rat race that they're running. So it is always a good idea to stop and think about what you want and what you need to be doing to get there. So those are the first questions. How much money do you want? How do you want to run your business? And if you take a look at our business, what's going on is that a lot of you spend time with drivers, dispatchers, mechanics, spend time with operations. You got into our business most likely to make money. And you do not make money by driving, dispatching, or managing. When you do all of those things is you make an hourly salary. Even when you just manage people, you make a salary as a manager. That's pretty much it. And so what it all means is that money is in making money, which is marketing. And there are pretty much 3 ways how you can be making money. A, you can have more customers. B, you can have current customers come back more often. And 3, you can have customers be spending more money with you per transaction. So basically those are the 3 ways, and that's it. And so what we also want to do from that perspective is we want to break down customers into new, current, and past. So the reason why we want to do that is because attracting new customers is the most expensive thing you can do. Keeping a current customer is much easier than attracting a new customer. And one of the things that is quite easy, but pretty much nobody is doing it, is bringing back lost customers and dealing with past customers. And so the way to go here is to have reactivation campaigns, to do sequences of letters that bring customers back. So if you look at last month's Inner Circle letter, there was a sequence from Forbes that was urging people to subscribe to the magazine. So bringing back past customers is pretty much the same. So you figure out who was using your taxi company before, and then you do some kind of campaign. You take that Forbes template or some other templates that you can find in the previous issues of the Taxi Profits Inner Circle letter. You create that campaign, and then you just send letters. In sending a letter, I think, I don't remember how much it costs. I think now it's going to go up to something like 49 cents this week or so, but still, sending 4 or 5 letters will cost you about $2, $2.50, which is really, really low if you look at what some other ways to advertise your taxi company cost you. So, okay, how do we do, what do we do from here? How do we go from here? Because my objective today is to show you how you can create a marketing plan, how you can create a marketing calendar. So we started with what do I want, how do I get there? Then you have new customers, you have current customers, and you have old customers. So what can you actually do? How can you attract new customers? How can you be dealing with old customers? So here is a slide. Okay, I'm looking at it on a different computer, and yeah, you can see it well. So here are pretty much all the ways you can be doing to attract new customers. So first we have internet and we have websites, we have email, we have media advertising, we have banner advertising, we have affiliate programs, direct mail, and publicity. Then we have print advertising, and there are different kinds of ads: display, classified, package insert, credit card statement, staffers, and so on and so forth. Then we have direct mail and broadcast fax, some stuff like rented lists, compiled lists, endorsed mailings, letters, postcards, self-mailers, tier sheets, and well-pack. Then we have publicity in all the articles about you: fax, email, direct mail, telephones, listings and directories, and articles. And then we have all the radio and TV, we have spots, we have talk show appearances and different TV show appearances. We have placements of your taxi company. Then we have speaking, we have seminars, we have all the stuff that you can publish. It can be some free report about how to choose a taxi company, and so on and so forth. And so if you look at the screen right now, if you look at this JPEG, you'll see pretty much all the ways that you can advertise. And so the reason why I am giving this to you is I want to make the process of advertising, attracting new customers and keeping current customers as simple as possible. And so if you remember what I've been saying in my taxi business transformation system, the principle is very simple. We never want to start from scratch. So whatever it is in business, we never want to be starting from scratch. So whenever it comes to advertising, if you have an idea in mind and if you need to inform your customers about something, you do not want to start thinking, well, how can I do this? What you want to be doing instead of thinking is choosing. And so that's why I've created this little thingy. You can now look at it and you can take a look at how much, what different channels costs what, and what you can use in this particular scenario, this particular situation, in order to attract new customers. And again, it makes things very, very simple because you do not have to think from scratch. All you have to do is to look at the checklist and just choose what you want to do. And so when it comes to dealing with your customers, dealing with clients, and dealing with buyers, you can pretty much, you have the same tools that you have in your disposal. So number one is internet, and you can have your website where you do customer service, where you present them offers, where you give them links to different services, offers, and so on and so forth. You can have email. You can have print ads in media they pay attention to. Then what's really, really important and really, really cheap, and something that you should be doing, and we'll talk about it later today too, is your own media. So you want to have your own newsletter, and it does not have to be fancy, it does not have to be complicated. It can be 4 pages. 4 pages is more than enough, that you send to your customers every month. And in that newsletter, you can also have offers, you can have promotions, and what is really important when you create something like a marketing calendar, when you have a calendar and when you have a strategy and you have your own newsletter, then you can be notifying your customers about what's going on in your taxi company, and so you can be making all your promotions and all the cool stuff that you can be doing. And I'll give you some examples of that cool stuff later on today in advance. And so if you're doing something for Halloween, then you can talk about it in the October issue of the newsletter. If you are doing something during the holidays, if you're doing something in December, you can talk about it in November so that people would know about what is going on, so that they have some time to act. So on top of that, there's always direct mail, there's solo offers, there are sales that you can be doing. Then there's telemarketing. You can have your customer care people be calling your customers to ask how they're doing, how they're rating your service, and that is something that I absolutely think you should be doing. You gotta have a customer care department. And even though it's called a customer care department, it can be some stay-home mom in Utah that is working for you 5 hours a week for $4 an hour, and so the cost of running the entire customer care department is going to be something like $20 a month. No, $20 a week, so that's what, $100 a month, and that is something that no competitor of yours is going to do. And again, all those little things that I'm talking about, just doing them one will put you light years ahead of your competition, and just doing one of those things will pay for the membership in my inner circle for years. So just do something. Then you can be sending audio, video, CDs, DVDs, with explaining the promotions, doing sweepstakes, and so on and so forth. And then again, you can be doing publicity to your buyers. So pretty much those are all the ways how you can market to your new customers, or how you can be marketing to your current customers. And so one of the problems that a lot of you have, and of what stands between you and making tons of money, and standing away from competition, and applying all those strategies that I talk about in my newsletter and in the webinars, is that you do not have enough channels of communication with your customers. And that lack of channels actually influences everything else. And first thing that it obviously matters is promotions and marketing to your current customers, but what it really limits also is your ability to joint venture with other businesses. Because one of the things that I tell my new clients is, well, go and make a deal with some grocery store owners, bar owners, restaurant owners, nightclub owners, and so on and so forth. And so in return, the objection that I usually get is, well, they all want something. And that is absolutely true. So whenever you come to someone and you offer them to do a joint venture or to do something, one of the things that they are thinking about is, well, what's in there for me? And so when you have a newsletter, when you have a page on Facebook, when you have your own website, it gives you a lot of leverage. So when, for example, somebody, let's take that same example with a supermarket, and my client now has his own newsletter. It's a turnkey newsletter that my team creates for him every month. And so when somebody comes to him and says, "Hey, I would like to get a price list for you," what he does now is he asks them, "Well, do you guys just need transportation, or maybe you are looking to joint venture in some other areas, do something else?" And obviously, no other business has ever told them that, so it immediately piques their interest. Well, what do you mean by saying that we can do something else? And then what he tells them, well, I have our taxi service has a website, we have our own newsletter, so if you guys need new customers, and pay attention to the wording, right? If you guys need new customers, my question to you is, do you know a single business in your town, in your area, that does not need new customers? So whenever he tells them, well, if you guys are looking to get more new customers, and obviously now he gets their undivided attention 100%. And then he continues, if you need new customers, our taxi service has a website that we update all the time. We had our own group on Facebook and a following on Facebook, and we also send our customers a monthly newsletter. So I've been thinking, if you guys wanted some free advertising in our newsletter, maybe we could structure a deal that would include that and would be beneficial for both of us. And the thing that you need to understand about a newsletter for a taxi company is that for you, you may think, who cares, who pays attention? It's a tiny little newsletter that, say, Tom does for me turnkey that costs me a few $100. What's the big deal? But most of the people have pretty much never seen a business that does a customer newsletter. I myself personally know a few dentists who do it, but that's pretty much it. And even those dentists that I know are not really consistent. And so when you tell somebody that you are going to let them advertise for free in your customer newsletter, to them that's a really big deal. And so what is going on in the head of such a person? They start comparing advertising in your newsletter to all the other advertising costs that they have. They start comparing it with advertising on TV, advertising it on radio, advertising it in some major publications in your town. And so the price tag to advertise and all that stuff is probably 10, 20, 30 thousands of dollars. And so what you do when you throw something like, well, if you need new customers, we could make a deal when you advertise in our newsletter. The picture that is appearing in the head of your potential partner is making you worth 20, 30, 10 grand. So it's not just about a $6 taxi ride anymore, it's about something much bigger. And what you can do then is you can have all those partners give you stuff for free that you use in your sweepstakes, that you use to give away to your customers. And those partners will be really happy and really ecstatic, because you will tell them that, hey, let's do a promotion, and I'm gonna give away some of the stuff that you sell, and I'm going to mention you as a sponsor, I'm going to mention you as a partner, and I'm going to write in my newsletter that we partnered up on this and this thing. And so again, what it does to your potential partner is it tells them that you are about to give them something worth tens of thousands of dollars, not just give them taxi rides. And so if you are struggling with partnerships, and if you have troubles in dealing with bars, restaurants, movie theaters, and so on and so forth, what you gotta do is you gotta build a better fence around your customers, and you gotta start telling other people that you do have this fence, and if they want access to your customers, you can give it to them. So what you're essentially doing here is you're putting yourself in a toll booth position, which is a really, really, really great position, because if you have a toll booth on a busy highway, Anybody who wants to get on the highway pays money. And so that's ideally where you want to put yourself in. That's a part of your business that you can create, that's going to always be there, that if somebody wants access to the customers of your taxi service, they will pay you money no matter what happens next. And so that's a great addition. That's something that you absolutely should be doing. And so the bare minimum that you should have, I would suggest, is a customer newsletter monthly, is a website and an active Facebook page. And I can create all these for you turnkey. So if you need help with any of that, hit me up, send us an email. You know where to find me, phone number, all the information is on the website, taxibusinessadvice.com. So suppose, let's go back to our marketing calendar and the main subject of today's conversation. So suppose you've chosen a goal, and suppose this goal is, well, suppose I want to capitalize on holidays, and suppose I want more business in January or February. So what can you do? What do you do? And so the secret is secret, and I think I've just made up a new word. But I think the secretist, but I think it's a really cool word, so I'm gonna stick with it. And so the secret is that you have to plan early, because it's too late to start thinking about business in January. And the way to do it, the way to go about it, is to start thinking about it now. And so how do you think about it? What do you do? Well, if you look at my website, if you look at the newsletter, what I always talk about is the importance of being relevant. And so, yes, you as a taxi company can be very relevant. And again, the key to being relevant is in planning, is in being strategic. And so being relevant is actually much easier than you think. So how can you be relevant? It's very simple. You gotta ask yourself a question. Well, what is going on? And how do you know what is going on? Well, first thing you can do is you can look at a calendar. And you do not want to look at a blank calendar, but you want to look at a calendar on the website like wincalendar.com. And when you became a member of my inner circle, one of the things that you were supposed to get was a calendar of events and holidays to use in marketing and promotions. And if you take a look at that calendar, you'll see that every month is filled with something. So for example, let's look at this month, let's look at October. So on Wednesday, October 1st, it was a World Vegetarian Day, which is something, and once you know what the holidays are, it's really, really, really easy to come up with some cool stuff to do on that thing. So on the World Vegetarian Day, you can give everybody, I don't know, a vegetable. You can have apples in the car, or you can be giving discounts from Whole Foods or something. So if you take a look at what's been going on later, at what's going to be going now, there's a Jewish holiday, Sukkot, and I'm sure those of you who have taxi services in areas like Williamsburg in New York City, and I have a few clients from there, know about this for sure. So then on October 22 we have National Nut Day. Then on October 24th we have United Nations Day. Then it's Islamic New Year. Then summertime ends, and on October 31st it's Halloween. So what we're doing is we're simply looking at a calendar, and we're looking at what's coming, what holidays are going to be there, what events are we going to have. On top of that, you most likely have some events in your town, you have some charities doing some stuff, or you may have your city be doing some stuff, or it may be something else. And so if you look at November, there's an All Saints Day on November 1st. There's Election Day in the States on November 4th. Then on November 20th, there's a Great American Smokeout. and then on the 27th there's Thanksgiving. And so if you look at that calendar, if you go to wincalendar.com and look at that calendar, you'll see that it is full of events like that. For example, let's take a look now at American Smokeout. And so why are we taking a look at that? Well, reason number one is we want to be relevant, is we want to be talking about what's going on now, what's going on today. And reason number two is something that you need to understand about your clients. What you need to understand about your customers is that most of them are bored to death. Because most people around you in general, and most people in this world, are bored to death. They wake up in the morning, they schlep to the shower, they take a shower, they brush their teeth, they schlep to the kitchen, they turn on TV, they have their breakfast, they go to work, mostly they hate what they do at work, then they come home, they watch some more TV, they have dinner, they go to bed, and then repeat in the morning. So that's pretty much a day of a regular person nowadays. And so what you want to do is you want to be entertaining, you want to be amusing, you want to show people something cool, something interesting, something that they have not seen before. And that's why if you look at the internet, you look at all those viral videos. And if you take a look at all those viral videos, a lot of them are just plain stupid. And so why is something stupid becoming popular? The answer is very simple, because people have nothing else to do, because people have nothing to be fascinated with, because they are bored. And so we as marketers, knowing that, want to be doing something cool, something fun, something entertaining. And so what I've just shown you with the calendar, with what's going on, gives you a lot of stuff to do with and about. For example, let's take a look at that Great American Smokeout Day. So, and this history I've also taken from wincalendar.com. So all that stuff is on the internet for free. Pulling it up doesn't cost you any money, so everything we've talked about so far does not cost you any money. It's just something that either you have to do or you have to hire somebody to do. And you can get a college kid, again, for minimum wage, who will do all this shit for you. So get it done. So let's go back to Great American Smokeout history. The Great American Smokeout is an informal holiday promoted by the American Cancer Society on the third Thursday of November each year. So, and I've just read this sentence, and one of the things that immediately comes to my mind is that you could easily partner up with American Cancer Society once or twice a year and get a ton of publicity for them and also from them, because all those big charities most likely have their own newsletters, they have their own partners, they have their own budgets, and so they could help you and they could send business your way. But let's continue. Smokers are encouraged to make plans to quit, even if for one day. The holiday began in 1970 when a man in Massachusetts asked people to give up smoking for one day and donate the money saved to the local high school scholarship fund. So here's something you could do. You could celebrate a Great American Smokeout Day by donating some money to a local high school scholarship fund. Again, something interesting, something cool. You could get a lot of publicity, you could get a lot of attention by doing all those simple things that don't really cost you anything. Smoking is responsible for 1 in 3 cancer-related deaths and 1 in 5 deaths from any cause. Worldwide, tobacco use causes more than 5 million deaths per year. Life expectancy for smokers is 10 years less than that of non-smokers. A middle-aged man who smokes triples his risks of dying from some type of heart disease. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette line used in 1949 commercials for Camel cigarettes. And again, all that stuff I got from wincalendar.com. And if you're a devout smoker, if you are not going to give up smoking, that's fine, because there's a lot of other holidays. And so what you could do here is a ton of stuff. Is you could donate some money to charities. You could ask your customers to donate to a high school fund. You could give a free ride to somebody who officially promises to quit smoking for one day or to stop smoking for one day. You could record a video with your cell phone and put it on your website and drive a lot of customers to your website and blah 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 blah. And I hope you see now where I'm going with this, how it all can happen. We started with pretty much nothing, and now we have a ton of stuff for you to do, stuff that's fun, stuff that's really inexpensive, and stuff that will draw a lot of attentions from your prospects, from your customers, and from pretty much everybody in your town. So what's next? What do we have in October? We have Halloween. So what is some of the stuff that you can and you should be doing for Halloween? Well, you should celebrate it. And you should tell your drivers at the bare minimum. Tell your people that you encourage it. And that your drivers can put something on, some Halloween costumes or some, at least a little bit of something. And so some of the stuff that you can do to ensure that you have a lot of stuff going on Halloween. One, you could possibly hire a makeup artist, and so I've done some research on the internet, and some of the masks are quite scary, but if you take a look at this, this is just makeup. So this is makeup, and this is makeup, and this is pretty scary, this is pretty elaborate, but it does not have to be that elaborate. I mean, you can put a little bit of paint on your drivers' faces, you can make it fun for your drivers, you can make it fun for your dispatchers, you can make it fun for people who work for you, and also you can make it fun, what's more important, for customers, so that that will generate a lot of word of mouth, because hey, they have actually celebrated Halloween, there was something cool going on. So those are two things that you can do. One is hire a makeup artist. Second one, go to a 99-cent store, go to Ricky's, go to Spirit Halloween, and buy some shit. And buy some masks, buy some little things that people can come into the office and just put up that does not require, you know, sizing, fitting, making sure that this fits, something little that your drivers can put up and have some fun with, and your customers will have some fun too. And again, why planning is important, why I'm talking about it right now, go do it now, because pretty much all Halloween stores are already open and they're all empty, especially on weekdays. And you as a business owner create your own schedule so you can live in the off-peak time. So go during some weekday in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all those places are usually empty, and spend $50 getting some shit. And it will be money well spent, because it will create a lot of buzz in the office, and your customers will be talking about it and will not forget about it. Another thing that you can do, but this requires some ways of communicating with your customers. Again, as I've said, a website or a Facebook page or something. And you can actually create Facebook page for your taxi company by yourself in about 5 minutes. So if you do not have yet that, if you have not done it, you can do it. You can put stickers on in your cars. Like us on Facebook. There's a lot of stuff going on. Show that you liked us on Facebook to our driver and get a prize. So there's a ton of stuff you can do here. So what you can do, if you do have some means of communicating with your customers, is you can have a contest. Have your customers email you their pictures in Halloween costumes, or have them upload them on Facebook, have them send links to their Instagrams, send you emails, and so on and so forth. And so have a contest when you choose a picture, or where your customers actually have to vote for best pictures. And then best picture wins something. And if you have some partners, if you start doing any of the stuff that I was talking before, then you can have your partners give gifts for free. So if you take a look at pretty much the implementation costs of all that stuff that I've been talking about today, it will cost you $50, it will cost you $100, it will cost you pretty much nothing, and the buzz and excitement and long-term consequences that it will make and generate are going to be tremendous, especially compared with all those thousands of dollars that most of you waste on ads that do not work. All you need is a girl or two to put some stuff on the website and to write down the exact details of a contest. So what about National Smokeout Day? You can give a prize to those who make a promise to stop smoking for 1 day. Again, you can put a video on your website. And so a great thing that pretty much all of you can do is you can go to a local university and you can put an ad for a part-time marketing help and hire some kid who is studying marketing, and then give them this seminar to watch and come up with the ideas and do all that stuff that I've been talking about. And those kids are going to be absolutely ecstatic, because that's not just sitting behind the desk, that's doing something practical, that's doing something creative, that's doing something fun, and that's doing something exciting. And if you write them a letter for their teacher how great they were, they will be just really happy, and because they're students, it will not cost you a lot of money. Yet again, the effects of all that stuff can be really, really huge. So if you take a look, another thing that we had on the calendar was a National Nut Day. What can you do on National Nut Day? Very, very simple. Go to Costco. For $20, you can get a huge bag with little packs of nuts. Your drivers can be giving little packs of nuts and a printout about the history of the day to your customers. And so imagine somebody who's used to not having anything in the taxi. At the end of the day, they get a little pack of nuts and they get a little flyer that tells them about the history of a nut day. And hey, thank you from ABC Taxi for being our customer. And we just wanted to say thank you, and because today is a National Nut Day, we wanted to give you a bag of nuts, and then you tell them about the history of that nut day. And again, all that stuff, Win Calendar and wincalendar.com and a lot of other websites where you can get all that stuff for free. So once you start doing all those things, you want to create a marketing plan, you want to create a marketing calendar. While it does sound fancy, it does not have to look fancy, and really there's nothing fancy about it. So what you can do is you get a piece of paper and you simply print out those calendars from wincalendar.com, and then you write down all that stuff that you are going to be doing. So okay, here I want to give out a bag of nuts and I want to give out a flyer. So okay, I need to buy nuts and I need to print flyers. So to print flyers, I need somebody, or you can just do it yourself. Go to the website, copy the history, and simply print it on your office printer. So you can hire some college kid to staple together those flyers and those nuts, and then you just put everything on the calendar. So on such and such a day, my drivers are gonna be giving away this, which means that 2 days before we are going to print everything, which means that 2 days before that, I need to go to a store and I need to get this. So that's pretty much what I'm talking about when I mean marketing calendar. And it's the same with, say, Halloween. Okay, on Halloween we're having a promotion where we are having just a contest, and we're having a fun dressing day. So we'll have a makeup artist and we're going to be giving out masks at the office. So on such and such a day, I am going to go and I'm going to get all that crap from 99 cent store to distribute it at the office. And so one of the very important thing once you start doing all of that is to keep track of what's working, what's not working, where there was a lot of buzz, where there was not a lot of buzz. Even though when it comes to things that cost $50, $100, a few $100, something like all that stuff on Halloween, you gotta be doing it anyways. But what you really want to be doing is you want to be tracking and measuring, just as I said in the beginning. And here's a very, very, very important thing. If something is working, if you do one of those things that I told you about today, this year, and it works really well, repeat it the next year. Because what a lot of guys do, we are all entrepreneurs, so we are used to be chasing the next new shiny object. And sometimes we focus on chasing new shiny objects so much that we'll do something, it works great, but we forget about it, and so we stop doing it. And so measure it. If it's working, do it again. And so I, in my own business, use a thing called GQs. It's a Google thingy. GQs, the way it's typed on the screen, if you go into and just type it into Google, it will pop up right away. It's a really nice scheduler. There's a free version. The paid version costs, I think, $15 or $25 a year. And so for each employee and myself, I have tasks that I break into daily, weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly. And so on the first of every month, there's a set of tasks that I do. On the every day, well, I do not have it for myself, but I do have it for my assistants and my team. They come to work, they look at the daily tasks, and some of them perform their daily tasks. And so what you want to be doing on the monthly basis, you want to write down, measure and track all the marketing campaigns and make conclusions. And so if you have a campaign that works, the conclusion that you make is use this campaign the next year. And so you put it on your calendar for the next year and you simply use that campaign. And so if you start doing all that stuff that I told you about today, what will happen in a few years, you will develop a full marketing calendar. And if you do not have yet a full marketing calendar, or if you need help with that, stay with me, keep being an Inner Circle member, because I will keep talking about stuff that you can be doing in winter, that you can be doing in the summer, you can be doing in the fall. And so in a few years you will have a full circle marketing calendar. And so then when it will be coming to marketing, something that a lot of you now struggle with, spend a lot of money with, it will suddenly become hassle free, and it will become very, very inexpensive because you have done it before, it worked, you have all the templates. All you have to do now is simply print more flyers or use the same templates and use them again. And it is your business, and so for you all that stuff will be familiar, and you may feel at times that, hey, we've just used it last year. But for your customers, it is your taxi company is not number one priority in their life. They have a ton of stuff going on, and even for your most loyal customers, you occupy a very, very, very little piece of their lives. And all of us these days are bombarded with advertising, and attention span of people is getting shorter and shorter and shorter with all the iPhones and Samsung Galaxies and all the messages and Google Glass and all the advertising and text messaging and YouTubing. Attention span is getting slower, smaller and smaller and smaller. And so what it means is that it also has great news to it, in that you can run the same campaign the next year and people will have successfully forgotten about it, and they will be looking at it as if it was brand new. And so if it works for you this year, or if you have something that worked for you before, use it again. Do not think that I've used it once, therefore it has to go to garbage. I guarantee you pretty much all of your customers have already forgotten about it. So take it out of the closet, shake the dust off, and use it again. Now let's talk about some other holidays, and now let's talk about December, Christmas, and making the holiday season busy. So for Thanksgiving, you can do something with senior citizens. So if somebody is staying in some old folks home and they do not have anybody visiting them, you can do something with them. You can have a drive where you collect money from your customers and then you donate it to a local old senior citizen home, whatever, so something can happen. So what can you do? You can, in December and for Christmas, you can be collecting toys, you can be donating them to charity that works with kids. So what you can can do is you can have your customers be giving toys or money or whatever to your drivers. Drivers will be bringing the stuff to the office, and then you can have a ceremony donating all that stuff. Now let's look at how we can turn January and February into a really busy season. So if you take a look at what's going on in your business in December, people are hunting for gifts. Everybody is crazy about what gifts they should get to their friends, relatives, loved ones, and so on and so forth. But what usually happens in a lot of businesses after that, January usually slows down. Unless you are in a super busy northern territory in Canada, Russia, and so on and so forth, where they have busy winters no matter what. But if in the previous years you had slower January and February, it most likely means that it will be slower this year too. So what can you do? How can you capitalize on December, November, on the holiday rush, on the holiday busy season? It's very simple. You can sell a gift certificate that is redeemable in January and February at a discount when bought in December. And I had a client who ran a very successful campaign. And the headline for this campaign, I'm giving it to you right now. Feel free to use it in your town. This is my gift to you as an Inner Circle member. The campaign was called This Year Santa Claus Came Early. And so here's how the pitch looked. December is a time when you're looking for gifts to your loved ones, friends, and family. And instead of buying some piece of junk that they will throw away and never think about again, we have an offer for you. We are about to suggest a gift that is not going to stay unused because it's winter and it's cold. January and February are the coldest months of the year. Therefore, the best gift you can give to your loved ones is a gift of not getting stuck in the cold weather. And then you switch from that to a pitch about your taxi company and about how you give a guarantee that you'll pick them up on time and blah 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 blah, all that stuff that I teach you in my newsletter and talk about in my taxi business transformation system. So that's basically the pitch. So we give a discount for gift certificates because Santa Claus came early and it's the gift that you can be using in winter. And so the offer that you can make is gift certificates at a discount. For example, pay us $50 and receive gift certificates worth of, say, $60. And so what it obviously does is that it generates cash for you in December, and then you have to be dispersing that money in January and February, not to mention that some of that money is going to stay in your pocket because some of the people are not going to use it. So basically, it's a win-win scenario for you, it's a win-win scenario for them. So what that actual client of mine did on top of that, she had sweepstakes with gifts from sponsors. And so she made a partnership deal with several electronics retailers. Then I think there were some other stores that were providing gifts that she was advertising in her newsletter. And so Santa Claus came early because on the 24th we're going to have all these sweepstakes with all those gifts. And in order to participate in the sweepstakes and get a gift and get a chance to get a gift for yourself, you gotta get a really smart gift for your loved ones, and that gift for your loved ones is a gift certificate for your taxi company. So buy our gift certificates, and those gift certificates enter you in the sweepstakes, and the more gift certificates you buy, the more chances you have to win grand prizes that we are giving away in our sweepstakes. And so that's what she did. I think she's been doing it for 2 years now, and both years, both campaigns have been extremely successful. And she was able to generate a ton of money and a ton of attention to her taxi service and her partners in December. And then she had really busy January, and she had really busy February because of all the gift certificates that she has sold in December. So if January and February are slower for you than December is, then I absolutely suggest you do a promotion like this, because it can really do wonders. That's all I wanted to tell you today. If you need help with any of the stuff that I talked about today, I can provide you with turnkey website, newsletter, or a Facebook page. If you have any questions in regards to what I talked about today, you can type them now. And also the second webinar of the month that I believe is going to be on the 22nd is a Q&A webinar. So if you want my feedback, if you want my critique or my opinion, as an Inner Circle member, you get that free of charge. All you have to do is send me your stuff or send me your questions. If you create some promotions, send me your promotional material so that I will take a look at them, and we'll discuss them during the second webinar of the month, so that you'll get feedback, you'll get my opinion, and you'll get some pointers, you'll get some help. Because by being an Inner Circle member, you're not longer alone, and my objective here is to help. So if you need help, if you want my feedback, ask for it, and you'll receive it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Now I'm gonna give you a few minutes. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat window for the webinar thingy.